Magnus Carlsen creates a brilliant tactical combination, forcing Richard Rapport to resign in this game. So the game happened in 2019 in Netherlands, and it was played during the Steel Masters. And now this is the Sicilian defense, and the Bastico variation of the Sicilian defense is being offered. And now once the pawns get exchanged, and these are the usual Sicilian moves. And after knight c3, the Richard just moves his queen to c7, and Magnus just opens g3, and then the bishop will go to g2, and after that Magnus immediately castles on the king side, getting ready for the other development and attack. So here, as you can see, once the knight is taken, you cannot take it back with the queen. If you take it back the queen in the next move, this pawn will push forward, attacking both the knight and after the knight, both the queen and the knight. And after the queen moves away, this knight is gone. So he had to take with the pawn, which creates a good pawn structure in the middle of the board, and it also creates an open space for the rook. And now Magnus just pushes his knight away to a4, which is actually it's an unusual move for the knight, and the reason for this is obvious. Magnus wants to push his pawn to c4 to create this pawn structure, and after that he plans to bring back the knight, and to that c5 was played, and now this pawn structure is made, and which allows this bishop to go to this nice little square at b2 and creating a good attack on the enemy king as well. So once the bishop goes to b2, Richard just castles on the king side, and Magnus just repositioned his queen to e1, and now the knight jumps away to d7, he just pushes his rook to d1, attacking the center pawn, and after the bishop move to b7 by Richard, the queen, Magnus's queen, just goes here attacking and threatening a checkmate. So the bishop just comes forward, preventing that, and Magnus just retrieves his queen to d2, and after a little dogfight, Magnus just had to push f4 here. So here, once f4 is pushed, e5 was played, create like cutting off this diagonal, this dangerous diagonal to the king, trying to cut that off. So here, the bishop just repositioned to c3, trying to attack the queen over here, and because there is nothing to protect the queen or preventing this bishop going over here. So he responds with an attack on the knight, because if the knight is allowed to be taken, the pawn structure will be destroyed, because you have to take back with your pawn and the pawn structure will be gone. And a lot of weak pawns are not good for the game, basically. So he created an in-between move, attacking the queen, and once the queen goes here, it creates an attack on this pawn over here, because it's only defended once, so this pawn is under threat. So Magnus just pulls back his knight which to c3, providing a support for the knight, and at the same time taking the knight away from this bishop's attack as well. And then once the pawns get exchanged, the rook goes to e8, and after the pawn push, the bishops get exchanged and the pawns get exchanged as well. So the knight move over here, it does two things. Basically, the knight is now in a very good position in the center of the board over this outpost here, and it also frees up this bishop's line, because the bishop was blocked earlier. It didn't have any squares to move, so which is actually not good. If it comes under attack, you could lose that piece. So this allows the bishop to retrieve to a good square, and he retrieves, creating an attack on the king, a checkmate threat. So again, now the pawn was pushed, and now here the king is actually moved just to create space for the rook over here. Uh, so Richard realized that, and he just retrieves. He just moves his king away, and once the rook goes to g1, it's an attack again on the king. So the bishop goes to f8 and protects the pawn over there. And now the knight goes back again to e3. So the idea behind now is very clear. Your rook just jumped to this particular outpost which was occupied by the knight, and after the queen moves to e6, the rook again goes to f7, creating an attack. So the queen goes to f7, attacking the rook, and Magnus just support his um, that with his queen, and creating an attack and a threat. So once the rook goes back, and Richard just tries to bring his rooks into action, Magnus just pushes this pawn. So now you cannot allow this pawn to be taken because if you take it, you cannot take it back with the queen, because if you take it back the queen, this queen is gone. So Richard then had to move the knight, supporting this pawn over here. So Magnus just repositioned his knight, attacking the rook over here, and this pawn at the same time as well. So now this pawn is taken, and now it's taken back with the knight as usual. Now Magnus just delivers this check. So here you have the option to move away, but moving away will be very dangerous. So and you can take this. You can exchange one rook for two, for a bishop and a knight. So that might be his plan, but Magnus had other ideas. So after this bishop was taken, this move happens, and Richard had to resign. So I'll just show you what happened now. So once this check is played, uh, you will have to take it with the rook, with your queen. So once the queens get exchanged here, right now you're down by the rook. So now this rook is taken, check, with a fork on the other rook as well, and after the king moves away, the other rook will get taken as well. Now as you can see, you're up by a rook, and you only have 3 pawns, Richard, and in this position he resigned, not continuing to not deciding not to continue the game, and resigns basically because Magnus had a superior position. So thanks very much for watching. Please do subscribe, and if you are, we will be back with more videos. Thank you.